So last time, I gave out my favourite Robot Masters in the series. Unfortunately, not every Robot Master had a chance of even making that list. Some Robot Masters have lame designs, some have annoying stages, some have really pathetic fights, and some of them have useless weapons. So I'm here to rip into the 10 Robot Masters that have what I've just stated. Let's go! Mega Man 9 had some really amazing Robot Masters, like the 3 I mentioned on the previous list, which really makes Plugman stick out like a sore thumb. His design isn't terrible, and it does fit him, but his stage is annoying. Why? The disappearing blocks are back, and these have to be some of the worst ones since Heatman stage, since a lot of them are above instant death. In addition, some of the timings needed here are very strict. After all those lost lives, you get to Plugman himself, and his fight is predictable. All he does is fire his Plug Ball, which just goes along the ground, and drop down on you when it reaches the ceiling. The uneven arena can make it a little tricky to dodge them, but it's nothing you need to sweat over, but I will give him some credit. His weapon's pretty good. It fires an electric spark that travels along the ground and it has good strength, but that's not enough to save him from being Mega Man 9's only bad Robot Master. Mega Man 3 is an okay game with a mostly okay selection of Robot Masters. I say mostly because Hardman exists. His design isn't really based on anything, making it really boring and uninspired, which is actually a running theme for his guys. His stage just does that. It takes place in some kind of mountain, but honestly most of it's pretty forgettable. The only memorable things about the stage are the annoying snapper traps, the monkeys high on caffeine, and the annoying Proto Man fight due to the uneven arena. As for his fight, it's really predictable. He fires 2 fists and then slams into the ground. Compared to other fights in the game, this is really underwhelming, and you'll only use his weapon to defeat a couple of bosses and destroy some walls in the Wily Tower. When you compare him to other Robot Masters in the game, like Magnet Man and Shadow Man, this guy's just got nothing going for him. Mega Man 10's Robot Master selection was mostly pretty solid. Even Sheepman was good, but not Pumpman. Firstly, his design is silly. A pump is not threatening. His stage is an example of the difficulty spikes in this game, with dangerous water coats combined with spikes and waterfalls that hinder your jumping. In contrast though, his fight is easy. All he does is put up his water shield, jumps, and fires it everywhere. But his water shield is awesome, as each bubble can take a separate hit, and when you fire it, not much is evading it. But that doesn't save him from being the weakest boss in the game. Mega Man 4 is definitely my least favourite of classic Mega Man games. It has the worst level design out of them all, and half of these Robot Masters are trash. One of which, quite literally. He's based off a trash compactor, and those are more of a threat than he is. All he does is fire his Dust Crusher, which is easy to jump over, and tries to suck you in, which unlike Magnet Man, it's really easy to predict and slide away from. But to even get to that fight, you have to go through one of the most annoying stages in the series. This stage is filled with beginner's traps. You've got enemies popping out of nowhere, platforms that appear over a ton of spikes with enemies constantly pestering you, and shooting these blocks onto the crushers with the metals is a major pain. So yeah, this guy has an annoying stage and a pathetic fight. His weapon may have good power, but that doesn't save him from being rubbish. Fire-based Robot Masters tend to be hit or miss, and Heatman is definitely a miss. His design isn't terrible, but his stage is a bore fest. All it consists of is you jumping over lava and dealing with annoying disappearing block. That's it. Oh, and how about the longest and most tedious disappearing block section over instant kill lava? As for his fight, it's not too bad. He throws fire and rushes at you. It can be a bit easy, but it's a fight I can easily stomach. Shame I can't say that about his weapon because it has no use. If you want anything decent from this weapon, you have to charge it. But by the time it is charged, you probably could have just killed them with the Buster. This has to be one of the only weapons I literally never use. The sequel may have improved a lot from the first game, but fire-based Robot Masters wasn't one of them. The first game hasn't aged well, and Bomb Man certainly didn't help. Firstly, his design is terrible. If you take out the bomb he's holding, there's nothing there to make him look like a bomb man. His stage is okay, but mostly forgettable. The only parts I remember is the exploding bullets and these spherical things in the background. The rest of the stage really doesn't have much going for it. The fight isn't forgettable though, as it's pathetic. All he does is jump around and fire his bombs, which are really easy to dodge. Even on my first playthrough, I destroyed him easily with just the Buster. His weapon also blows. Eventually. It doesn't explode on contact, meaning by the time it explodes, you probably could have killed them with another weapon. He may be the first one to go wrong, but he's far from the worst. Seriously, a toad? Who thought that was a good idea? To be fair though, his stage isn't actually that bad. You got wind affecting your jumps, currents to platform on, and a couple of snail mini bosses that are pretty easy to take care of. However, this stage is much harder than his fight. His only attack is the rain flush, which is unavoidable. But when you shoot, he'll instead jump towards you like a moron. So you almost like you have a fight that looks like this. His weapon may be an awesome screen that can pierce shields, but that's far from enough to redeem this joke of a fight. Send this guy to some biology students. They're already getting ripped off most likely anyway. I really like the idea of the Robot Masters in 6 being based off the last 8 of a fighting tournament. I just have one problem with this. How did Plant Man get to the last 8? He must have had an easy run or so because this guy is an absolute joke. First problem, he's a flower. Second problem, your reward for going through one of the most painful sections of a level in the series is a fight that only consists of him putting up his barrier, jumping, then throwing the barrier upon landing. Weakness or not, this is one of the most pathetic fights in the series, and we're fighting a goddamn flower. And your reward for all of this is the worst shield weapon in the series, as it dies in one hit and can't be fired. How can one of the best games in the series have a Robot Master this bad? He's a flower! If I could sum up Bright Man in one word, it would be cheap. The stage, you got enemies turning off the light making it hard to judge where everything is. Trying to defeat the turnballs on the grasshopper is annoying. And those platforms with the enemy projectiles at the end in the dark would have caused multiple game overs if it wasn't for the Legacy Collection's rewind feature. And that feature is damn near essential for his fight, as he's a real pain in the bum. His shots are a pain to avoid, and he can corner you rather easily. But that's not the worst part. That would be when he freezes time. If he does this, you'd better hope you're in a good position, otherwise you have no way of escaping damage. Is his weapon worth it all? Kind of. It freezes time and allows you to shoot whilst it's active. Basically Flashman's weapon done right. It is a really useful weapon, but that does not excuse the frustration just getting it. So, Mega Man 8. The snowboarding sections, and the snowboarding section. Frostman is one of the most infuriating levels in the series due to this snowboarding. So what's wrong with these sections? Problem number 1. It doesn't always respond to your jumps, meaning you'll count several times where you'll know you hit the jump button in time, only for Mega Man to green off like a blue rock. Problem 2. There are several points, especially on the higher speeds, where you'll have to make leaps of faith. Whenever you make jumps on the high speed, there's no warning on where the platforms are, so ludicrous reaction times are needed. These sections are incredibly frustrating, and you'll most likely get multiple game overs that aren't even your fault. And when you get to Fat Snowy Stone Man, he's an absolute wuss. Every single one of his attacks is incredibly slow, telegraphed very far in advance, and are easy to dodge. In fact, this guy was so easy that I beat him Buster only on my first try when I only had half of my health remaining at the start. So he has a lame design, one of the worst levels in the series, and the easiest fight out of them all except for Toadman. The only good thing I can say about him is his weapon is good against grounded enemies. Number 1, however, has got nothing going for him. But before I reveal who that is, here are some dishonorable mentions. Flashman, boring stage, easy fight, and a very flawed weapon. Topman, pathetic fight and useless weapon. Ringman, annoying as hell stage. Chargeman, annoying fight and useless weapon. And finally Astroman, painful stage, fight, and voice acting. I've been able to say something good about each of the previous 9 Robot Masters. Stoneman, however, has got nothing going for him. All he is a load of bricks made into a robot. His design is boring and uninspired, which also happens to describe his stage flawlessly. You start shooting some enemies, then you shoot some more enemies, then you shoot some more enemies, and then you... There's almost no platforming challenges, meaning the only challenges to the enemies, which most go down pretty easy. Oh, just like himself then. I'll either fire rotating rocks that are slow and easy to dodge, or use his weight to jump on you and that's it. You'll destroy this guy easily. Oh no you won't. He does it himself for you. Not even Toadman sunk that low. His weapon is also useless. The Power Stone fires 3 stones counterclockwise to require good positioning just to hit anything. And considering other weapons like the Gyrocopter don't require good positioning, you're never going to use this. Stoneman is just a waste. A bland design, a long and boring stage, an easy fight where he literally breaks apart, and a useless weapon, which altogether cements him at number 1, even though he should probably use that cement to stick himself together so he can't break apart. This has been Inkling Gaming. Thank you for watching.